Good morning. My name is Dr. Melody Keith, and I am here in Lakeway, Texas. Beautiful Lakeway, Texas. We're here to talk about tennis elbow. Tennis elbow. So we think of tennis elbow as a lateral epicondylitis. It's an itis. It's an inflammation of the insertion of the all of the wrist flexors and wrist extensors that come into the lateral part of the elbow. And for those of you that play tennis, play pickleball, squash, any of those, the repetitive movements, you get it. But guess what? A lot of other people also get tennis elbow, as we call it, lateral epicondylitis. And we get it from a lot of repetitive movements. If you knit or sew or do anything where your hands are doing it, or if you're a manual therapist just like me, we're always plagued with it. Amy and I are always working on making sure that we keep these open and moving and things like that. So today, what I want to talk about is give you some ideas on how to work with your pain in your elbow, okay? And we know that with pain in the elbow, of course, you're going to start with rest, ice, bracing is another thing that you can do, or just stretching. And I know that a lot of people are going, okay, I've done all that. I've done all that. I've done all that stretching and ice and bracing, and nothing seems to make it go away. And why? Because we can't stop doing our lives, or we don't stop playing tennis long enough, or we don't stop playing pickleball long enough, and we want to continue to do those things. So I'm here to say that you can continue to do these things if you just stay faithful with your stretching, with your exercises, with your ice, things like that. So on our tennis elbow, so we're going to our points. Hopefully I can get this to stay up. Yes. So stretching, I'm just going to give you a few things. So in our stretching, of course, we always want to do, open the wrist, open the palms, open the hand, things like that. Get in, get moving. We call these prayer, where you're just praying and you're opening and closing, opening and closing. And then reverse prayer, where you're going here, right? So stretching, getting those stretched out. Don't do a lot of ball stuff. Don't do a lot of squeezing. Do a lot of opening up the hands and keeping the fingers moving, right? Keeping everything open. All right. Next, don't give up. This is an injury that takes a long time to heal. So the more tender it is, like when you touch here and oh man, that hurts like ever. It's going to take a while to heal. It doesn't mean that you have to stop your life, but you do have to stay faithful with your exercises. And what we like to do here at Lakeway Aquatic Physical Therapy is we include above and below the joint, because again, this may be the problem, but really the cause of the cause could be coming from here, or it could be coming from here. So that's why we give you ideas for the entire shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hand. Amy's here, our PTA here, Lakeway Aquatic Physical Therapy, and she's going to just show you, first of all, a little swim. Just do a little swim. And she is on a little bolster, a little half tube, right? You can do a half, you can do a full. She's actually lying right on it. Her whole spine is on it. And she's doing just what we call a little swim. Then we can go into just a little bit of serratus punches into what we call our W's, and going all the way down. Look at that. Oh, nice little stretch into the shoulder, right? To help open the shoulder. You want to get the shoulder complex moving. And you can see how she's doing thumbs down, so she's externally rotating. She's trying to get the shoulder moving, right? Then we're going to go right into wrist and hand and elbow stuff, and that's the ones where you're going to do them on the wall. And I'm going to come over to the wall and just get in and try to get in and straighten the elbow. Get in and straighten the elbow. Again, with a force. You can do this on the wall. You can do this on a table. It doesn't matter. But what I wanted to show you here is that for those of you that are having chronic issues with lateral epicondylitis, and you've tried a lot of other things, physical therapy can help. Why? Because we've got a lot of other tools in our toolbox. So I can do dry needling. For those of you that don't know what dry needling is, it's acupuncture needles that go into the tendonligamental junctions. It actually goes underneath the tendon, and I add a little electric current for it. Yeah, so that's one thing that really works well for lateral epicondylitis. We have K-tape. Everybody knows tape. We can teach you how to tape your hand or your wrist or your elbow correctly to help to support it or to help take some of the stress off of it. We do Graston tools. We have Graston stuff. And, of course, we do what you should be doing at home, icing, right? So these are just like our cold stones or just a little direct ice right on there, getting in there. These are some of our what we just call finger rubber bands. And we have all kinds of little tools and things that we can use. And you're going open and close and open and close. And again, you're going to do this with the wrist extension to try to work that out. So we have other tools that we can use in physical therapy. And we would love to help you if you have any type of elbow, wrist, hand, and if it goes up in your shoulder sometimes, those all will work together. The whole thing. All right? So if you have any questions, please call us. We'd love to see you. Please like us. I would love it if you give us some thumbs up. And if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on our next Snapinar.